Very welcome back to What Life Girls Stories, and I'm happy to have you here today and to set up the reading journal spread for my spring reading challenge with you today. I have already prepared most of the things that I will need for that. So as you can see, I've written out the letter that starts the challenge, and if you watched my last video with the challenge announcement, then you already have seen this text. And apart from that, I have prepared some of my washi tapes that I think will fit the style of the challenge really well. So I have two nice, bright, flowery, colorful ones, and maybe I'm gonna use this wood texture one as well. And then I have some nice little plant stickers as well. All of my washi tapes are from Paper Poetry, which I can get here in Germany quite easily. So I really like these ones and I'm gonna use them for sure. I've also printed out all the graphics that I showed in the challenge video on sticker paper and basically just cut them out myself because I don't want to spend too much money on this hobby at the moment. So this is the cheapest way that I can do it. Printer paper, even if it's sticker paper, doesn't cost that much and we have a printer anyway, so that worked out really well. Of course, that means that I have to spend quite a bit of time cutting out all the different parts, but I did set up the printing sheet so that you can cut them out as all free flowers or just in groups of 2s and 1s, depending on how you want to tackle the challenge. For myself, I've cut out most of them in the free flower version because I will be starting with sun and water challenges, so I hope that I will have them going for all of my challenge anyway. But with that said, and with all of my stuff prepared, I think we can jump into my journal where I have set up a bit of a structure already and sketched it out so that we can get going on creating this lovely spread today. First, we will start the setup with putting in the titles that I've already sketched out in pencil, because I will have one spread for the reading challenge itself where I can collect the flowers and put down all the books that I read and have all the info on the different prompts that I need to fulfill. And then I will have a second spread where I will write down a little kind of storyline because I really enjoy writing stories and I want to kind of role play this challenge a little bit. So I will be telling little stories about each book and each prompt that I get through. So you can already look forward to that if that's something that sounds interesting to you. With the titles set up, the next thing that I need to do is create the area that I can work in. So I'm gonna start out with the washi tapes, and I have this lovely flower tape that definitely needs to go from bottom to top to have the flowers in the right direction. And I will use this one for the sides of all 4 pages, while I also have the orange one that I will use to do the bottoms and top of the pages because that's a more horizontal print on there. And while that gives me a nice border for my page, of course, that's not the important part for this challenge. So I need to figure out where to put all of the lovely stickers that I printed. And as I said, I've already sketched in a little bit, but I will put them in here just so that you can see what the end goal will look like. Of course, I can't put down water and sun as of yet, because those stickers I will only collect once I've read the relevant book for them. But I do want to put down all the flower pots for sure, because obviously I need to have some structure of where my collected flowers will go. So let me set all of this up and put them down so that we have all the spaces mapped out. Of course, I need to be a bit careful because the flowers are of different sizes and some of them will need a bit more space to the right or to the left than others do. So I actually do want to put these flower pots not all on exactly the same space, but I want to have them slightly off center because I just think that looks more natural. And obviously this challenge is very nature based, so why not have it look a bit more natural? This will obviously take me some time, so I'm gonna speed it up quite a bit. And while I do that, I will let you know my current plan for the challenge. Obviously, as I say, it's the current plan and it's probably gonna change because I'm a really big mood reader and I never know exactly what will come in terms of my holds from the library. So we'll see how it actually turns out. As it stands right now, I'm planning to start out with the water prompt because I have an early reviewer's copy of a book that sounded really interesting and that sounds exactly like the right thing for this challenge. It's called The Water Lilies of Mishipeshu. I hope I pronounced that correctly, I'm not quite sure, by Carla Cruz. And basically it tracks the creation and all of the things that happen to a botanical manuscript throughout many centuries, between using it for preservation or using it for profit, and all kinds of stuff that happens around it. That in itself sounds interesting already. And what made it even more interesting for me is that it has a bit of a Native American element, and that is an area that really interests me because from childhood I've read a lot of cowboy and Indian stories, and I really like the probably quite romanticized culture of the different Native American tribes and how they look at nature and the circle of life. So that always sounds really interesting to me, and I feel quite at home reading about that area of the world, actually. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that book for sure. Anyways, that's me setting up all of the stuff that we need to get started. But now, of course, we have to go ahead and also put in the different descriptions for all the plants and their functions, as well as the prompts for what books I will need to read for them. And I'm gonna go for 2 of 2 in terms of the ingredients that I need for my plants to grow really well. So the second book that I want to read is about the sun. And with this one, I haven't actually looked that much into it, but I've heard that quite a few people really enjoyed reading it. And I think that I don't really know enough about Greek myths at this point, because there's quite a few interesting stories that I do know, but I don't know enough of them in detail, and I'm really interested to read a bit more of myth retellings. So the book that I'm looking into reading for the sun prompt is Ariadne by Jennifer Saint, which basically is a retelling of the story of the Minotaur, but highlighting the role of Ariadne rather than Theseus, who is usually the one that is in focus for the story. So that sounded really interesting, and the cover has a beautiful stylized sun in the background, so that counts really well for my sun prompt, and I already have it on hold from the library, and it's supposed to come in the next 2 weeks, so I think that will work out just fine for me to read it right in the beginning of this challenge. As for the rest of the challenge, I'm not actually sure yet which books I do want to pick up for the different flower types to collect all of the different seeds, because there's a lot of choices to be made there, as I have so many interesting books that I do want to read on my shelf or from the library. And at the moment, I don't know what I will feel like reading, so I'm gonna wait on that and decide once I have read those first 2 books, and then I can pick the next one and see what I'm in the mood for. In any case, I have a lot of great books on my physical TBR that I do want to get to, so I'm gonna try and read at least a few of the prompts from my own books, but I will also be picking up some of the books from the library because, of course, I always have a few books on hold, and in the next 3 months, I'm sure there will be some of them coming in that I really want to read. Also, I'm not going to be focusing exclusively on the challenge because that's why I made this lovely little challenge that is not that stressful and that gives me a bit more time to read all the books, because I want to make sure that I can still mood read. So if I want to read a book and I'm really into it and I just feel like that's the right book for me right now, and I want to be able to read it even if it doesn't count for one of the prompts. So I'm not going to actually be completely strict on only reading books for the challenge, but I will try to make sure that I read probably 3 books for the challenge in each month, which will only give me 1 or 2 books apart from that in my current reading speed. So that's still gonna be quite a lot, but I think it will work out fine. Especially since some of the books are not that thick, so I guess I'll get through them quite nicely as well. Anyways, those are my plans for the challenge. So if you do want to play along, please let me know what your plans are in the comments below. And if you need any recommendations for any of the prompts, also let me know. I'm really happy to give recommendations for sure. And if you want to join in and create a spread like this for yourself so that you can play along with the challenge and you want to have all the stickers for it, go ahead and click on the challenge announcement video that I will put up at the end of this video so that you can head over there and get my download in the description, which has the sticker sheet ready for you to be printed out, and then you can cut it out and do the same spread that I have done. And of course you can choose if you want to decorate it the same way that I did, or if you want to decorate it completely differently, that's all fine. All that this challenge is about is having fun and telling a nice little story on the side. And actually that's what I'm looking forward to the most, because that's what I created my second spread for. And I'm really looking forward to writing down a little paragraph about each of the books that I read and making it into a nice little story of an herbologist's journey to growing all the plants that she needs for her society to be well off in the summer. So yeah, hopefully some of this sounds interesting for you and you enjoyed this video. It was really fun making it, to be sure. So I would be glad if you want to come back for the next one, because once we head into March, I will obviously be starting to fill out this lovely spread and create a little story for my herbologist, working on her growing and reading goals. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and have fun if you want to play along as well. I'll see you next time. Bye!